haven't done this in a while. I haven't done a live stream in a year. Okay, now we should be live. Hello, audience. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Audience, hi. Can you hear two people? Hi, can you all hear both our voices? Is it working?
Hello. It should be.
Okay, yes, they can hear us. Great. Okay, then we can start. So I'm assuming most people listening know who I am. I'm Ellie Arrow. I'm a feminist activist from Germany, and my main topic is prostitution. And my focus is speaking about the reality here, about legalization, and how the state can think it can fix everything with bureaucracy, which I think they're wrong. And it's always good to take a look at other countries. So I have a guest today. It's Cassie from Canada, who's here to talk about her own experience of being in the trade and seeing it up close and her conclusions of what this means. Yeah, Cassie, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
I'm very tall.
Mm-hmm.
I have not much to say, but it's a scary world, even if it's legal, because you can be coerced. I think that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
When you are manipulating too, so anyone can be trapped into this world, and they will think they are consenting to, but they're not. So yes, it's legal here too. Pretty much just in Germany, I think, is it?
So there's always the law on paper and then in practice. So in both in Germany and Canada, if you're a woman or a man in prostitution, you're not a criminal. Although it's a little more complicated, like in Germany, there's the question: are you paying your taxes? Are you here legally? It's complicated. But the difference is that in Canada, technically on paper, the industry hasn't been, not for the men who pay and the pimps, it hasn't been legal since, I think, 2014. But this law isn't being enforced for the most part.
It's not.
So it feels like it's legal, but the state isn't really paying attention. It's just kind of letting it happen. So I was thinking we'd go through it sort of chronologically, like because there's so many steps along the way that are important to understand. Because in Germany still, even though it's legal, people like to blame the women and men in it and say something's wrong with them, and they don't like to pay attention to all the different factors, economy, society, discrimination that play into it. So if you want, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood or your teenage years before you entered? What do you think contributed to your experience?
I think, it's pretty common. I was emotionally abused most of my life. My mom is crazy. Okay, I'm not respecting her. She really is. Oh my god. So that was hard. I had a rough childhood, a rough teenager, because child support is also a system that doesn't work. They didn't provide me any support, any help. So when I was 17, I was able to get out of the foster care. So I met a boy and I directly moved with him. I stayed with him for like about a year. It was great, but like he was taking a lot of drugs, so it was very bad for me. So I started to do drugs as well. and I'm talking like cocaine, molly, stuff like that. I mean, I've smoked weed all my life, so yeah, I was smoking weed. I still do smoke weed, but like I don't take any other drugs. And I left him in one day. The day after I was in Montreal, like I wanted to start fresh, and it was hard to be alone because I don't have parents. Like alone in a big city, you don't know anyone, right? So my first instinct to meet people was, oh, I can go on Tinder. Um, not like that idea. I ate Tinder. I was basically abused on Tinder. Like, oh yeah, I go on a date, but like, it's not because I go on a date that I want to sleep with a boy, but they will sleep with me anyway. I
Mm-hmm.
had like very like I met some. Can I swear? Can I say like the F word?
Yes, you can speak any way you want. I swear,
Okay,
I say fuck and all those words.
okay, okay, cool. I met some fucked up people. So this play a big role in my self-esteem and self-worth. Since I didn't have any self-esteem and self-worth, my mom always like I was 14 and she would call me hey whore, literally in French though because we're French.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, that's basically like I think Tinder boys really like abused of my vulnerability and my naivety. Like I didn't meet one great boy on this app, and everyone I've met have hurt me, or it was just like I was just feeling less and less worthy. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, my ex was threatening. I mean, he tried to kill himself because I left him, and I was 18 turning 19, okay, in Montreal by myself. It's when depression just hit. So like I was struggling to work and stuff. I was trying to find a way to have money. Like I was selling nude pic to people, like a few people, I don't know, like two people maybe. And I was not even feeling comfortable. Like there's a man that wanted to meet me to like pay me, and I was not like comfortable to meet. And like I think I met them after a year. Like I was just not feeling pretty. I was just not feeling anything. Like I was sad all the time. I was struggling to work, and like basically after that, like I was still being able to pay rent, but I was struggling. So my mom reached out to me, and she was like, "Come back." And I pay all your debt off. So I came back, and literally I was sleeping in the basement on a 1 inch bed, and I left 2 weeks after. But I left without a plan. I didn't have a job. It was during Christmas too. Basically, I had a job. I got fired because my English is not good enough during Christmas. So I just it like rock bottom of my depression.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was going on as well because I never was diagnosed. Like even if I think I was depressed since I'm like 15, child support sucks. So they never diagnosed me with anything. So it was like very hard for me to understand. And I was living with that friend, but she never like asked me if I was okay. Like she's not really a good friend. And in February of 2018, I was sexually assaulted on the street. I mean, I say on the street, but like it wasn't a home, right? But like anyway, and that was very hard because after they raped me, they said that I was not even good. And I just wanted to scream, yeah, because I didn't want it to. But like I was not sure what was really happening. You know, like I didn't have any friends as well, so like I was texting someone. I said, I think I just got raped, and he was like, "Oh, but like, what do you do?" I didn't. Like I literally left, and it was far away. I was lost. They stole my money, as well, and things God I have a car to take the bus, and a bus was next to their house. Like I was confused. Like I was in a part of, sorry, in Montreal. Like there's a lot of banlieue. There's a small village around there. I was like somewhere there, and they literally did that in their mom's basement as well. Like, I don't know. So it really played a role into like, well, people only like me because I have boobs and a vagina. So I guess that's my word. And I started to meet people that was in the network, and what they do basically, like the pimps are how connected to each other. Some are called bookers, some are pimps, but they all know each other, and they kind of sell you prostitution in Montreal. They will like ride you around, and I mean, the clients in Montreal are gross, so I don't really understand how they can sell you. But I guess they will buy you stuff, party with you. Um, uh, they will probably like I was in a trap house with girls, like we were like 5, 6 in one. We had like one bed for 5 girls.
One bed.
And
Wow.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that was awful. But yeah, so they put you with girls, so like you have fun, you party, you feel pretty, and you kind of like make money too. So you spend like basically you first like I was not in love with anybody, so I first started with a booker. So you will take like 50% the money I make. I got 50%, and it was fair, I guess. Like I had money, so I could pay my stuff. Like you make a lot of money still. Like so, I was able to pay my stuff, and like I bought like a lot of lingerie. I remember like I didn't have like that much money, but like I was happy because I was able to like go to a restaurant and eat. And
Yeah.
uh yeah, so I know that because I met a lot of girls, and most of the girls are in a relationship with their pimp, so they give them 100%. Um, and we're not gonna talk about the clients right now, right? I mean, I can, but in Montreal, they're very degrading. I think that play a role into like when they want to sell you prostitution, because like client, I they are just low ballers. Like I would say they will want like they will want to come twice for like $60, and the price would be like 200. But sometimes the guy that book you force you to do it because we didn't have enough clients and stuff. So it's just very degrading. Um, on that take, I don't think that any sex worker should have sexual relationship with people. That like
What do you
it's
mean?
fine. Like for me, it's fine if you do like if you're a stripper, uh, and you don't do like any like sexual thing. If you are like a cam girl, porn star, like well, like having sex with people for money is very degrading, and it takes a toll on every sex worker's mental health, self worth. All that should not be allowed, and it's very risky as well. It's dangerous.
So,
Some yes, go ahead.
oh, um, I just want to say what you're describing sounds very similar. Like I don't see any difference to Germany. So we think that Canada on paper has a different legislation, but in practice, it's still all the same things, right? It's poverty and broken family ties and previous struggles with health very often, and
Mhm.
experiences of violence. And would you say that this is, um, like, I'm sure you spoke to other women there. Um,
Yeah.
is this the common experience, or is there various different paths into the industry?
Um, Most of them didn't really have a good relationship with their parents.
Mm.
I met one girl though that became a bouquet, but originally that's her dad that was like our pimp. So there's this point as well. If not, I met some girl that was drug addict. I mean, we need to understand that a big part, like big part of the sex worker, like the prostitute or drug addict. So it plays a toll for sure when you have
Mm.
an addiction. So pimps can like use it. Like I'm just gonna move forward to in Alberta, okay? Just a little
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
story with a girl. She was addicted to fentanyl, I think, and meth, and she was like at the bottom of her addiction. And my parents said they started to make her work. They literally spent $50 on her for clothes, and they will take all the money and they will give her drug. And they were saying like, well, the only thing she wants is drug. So they took all the money for profit, literally. And that's when it happened. I was like, okay, something's wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they will profit for sure from drug addicts, and they are the most vulnerable, I say,
Mm. Mm.
because they are addicted to a substance.
And
And
that's, oh, sorry.
yeah, a lot of them was like addicted to any substance. Sometimes it's cocaine, sometimes it's meth, like stuff like that.
And it's the same here in Germany. Addiction is quite common, and
Mm-hmm.
technically it's illegal to touch someone or have sex with someone who's on drugs. But if you pay for it, then, well, you can go on any online forum where the clients or Johns talk to each other, and they'll say, "Yeah, I realized she was high." But they don't fear prosecution, and clearly they don't fear prosecution in Canada either, even though
No.
technically they're criminalized. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
you do drugs with the client most of the time.
Mm. So they take them too, um, which sounds extra dangerous because, like, a man high on drugs. I mean, I know different drugs have different effects, but
Mm-hmm.
that's an extremely unsafe situation for anyone to be in.
Yeah,
Um,
because like I will do like corporate clients and stuff, and there's always a risk that is going to be like, well, I just spent $300 on coke for you, so you gotta do that or that. And I mean, it didn't happen to me, but it's a risk, and they can be violent and stuff. Just like I don't know, I just think it should not exist in the first place. Like I didn't mean like all the girls that I met a lot of girls, okay, and we all were looking at each other a certain way when we were going to a room with a client
mm,
or getting out, and I don't feel like any girls really want to do that. They just do it because they gotta do it. Like I honestly generally don't think any girls want to have sex with hundred or thousands of people for money. That's very degrading for anyone. Like it can be men as well.
did you meet men as well, or was it mostly women,
Yeah.
or only men? Men as well. Mm-hmm.
No. I just met women.
Okay. And I remember when we had a chat prior to this live stream, you said that you witnessed a lot of racism, like white women and women of
Mm,
color being treated differently. What was that like?
uh, a black girl, generally prettier than me, would make half the money I was making, and I was not making like super mega money because I'm like overweight. Uh, yeah, and native girls will literally be the worst. I think like I would say like $20 for an hour in
Mm.
Alberta, and the price for a white girl in Alberta is 300. Like I was charging 300, and they were like get like 20, 60 maybe, very like low prices.
And people, I mean, people here 300 for 1 hour so-called work,
Mhm.
and that sounds like a lot of money. And like you must have saved a lot of money and had a great apartment. That sounds like $20 sounds uh like poverty, but um 300 sounds like a lot, but as you said, like you don't come out with a lot of money. Um, it's,
No, you don't.
I mean, there's the
Like,
pimps who take the cut, but what else happens in practice?
I mean, like, you're not gonna save your money because you're in a party environment, so you're at a like. I bought clothes with the money I made in Montreal mostly. Uh, yeah. I mean, if a girl is doing that for a while, she will get a nice apartment, and that's like the minimum she could get. Like, she deserves way more. I guess like she needs like a good apartment. Like I didn't know I was in trap house. When I was in Montreal, I was not making a lot of money because like uh I was not comfortable with the prices most of the time. So I was just like I was experimenting as well.
Mm,
Like with the clients and stuff, and I would go like in road trips to Toronto and stuff, and that's something that really like uh that these sold to me very well. It was like traveling. I was like, yay, I can travel. So
mm,
we went like around like Ontario, Toronto, and the booker I was where was like he was violent with me physically at some point.
mm-hmm,
So I was freaking out. Or like I don't know. He was also trying to make me fall in love with him. It was just awful.
mm,
Uh, he had another girl as well that was jealous of me because she was in love with him. So I wanted to get out of it. And like in April 2018, Backpage, the main site of escorting in Canada, was shut down.
mm,
So
mm-hmm,
it just made it so much worse because we didn't have any income. Like some site would come, but like when it happened, I was on my way to Toronto with a girl, and her boyfriend, and then we were just like literally moving from motel to motel, making barely enough to pay for the motel. And we're talking about a motel. Like, it was not a nice room, and it was just awful. So I had a cat with me too, my little cat. So I
mm,
was tired of moving from hotel to hotel, like without knowing if I could make enough during the day to pay for my hotel room and my food. And so I, the girl said, "Well, you can go to Alberta, no people there," and I trusted her, right? So I went in Alberta,
mm,
and like every girl I go in Alberta, when they come back, they don't have any money on them. You don't go in Alberta or in BC to make money because they take it all. Like
mm-hmm,
you think you're gonna make money because their prices are higher. In Montreal, it's like 200 an hour if you're really pretty. That's another thing. Your prices depend, like accepting of your appearance. So that takes another toll on self-esteem. But it'd be like between like 100 sometimes for an hour, 120 and 200. In Alberta, it's always 300, no matter where you are, except if you're a person of color. I think they still charge 300, but the girls I've met, they didn't go like they will only have low ballers or nothing.
And yeah.
You can go ahead.
I was going to ask, we talked about that a little in our prior chat as well. The relationship between women. Like, I remember you saying there's both the aspect of competition, where you're both trying to make ends meet, and that means trying to, you have to compete with each other, but then other times you try to help each other out. You try to be on the same team, or you are on the same team. What's that like? How do you navigate helping each other, or what do you do if someone is trying to make it difficult for you?
The first girls I met in Montreal in the trap house literally made me want to leave, and that's when I started being basically homeless. So that's when I started to move from motel, like, because they were very toxic. They were snakes. They tried to bait me into wanting to sleep with a girl's boyfriend. And I was just scared that they would cut my hair, honestly. Like, so I came back, I took my stuff, and I left. I was not happy anyway there because one bed for 5 girls, like, it's kind of annoying. And like there was like a basement, but it was full of insects. So like I don't know, you didn't have any intimacy. These girls, no, they're not good relationship. They're not good influence. They just, I don't know, like, and there was this girl. Sorry, there was this girl. She was from where I'm from, so I was relating to her, and she was nice. She was the only nice one. She was older, but our sister was 17, and she was in the trap house, and she did have a few customers, and she was saying like she was crying and stuff, and it was just so wrong. Like I don't understand how her sister can put her through that, but
So
I don't
her
know.
own sister recruited her, or what do you mean?
Like her sister was like 30, and her like other like our sister, like for example, like the 30 years old girl, our sister was 17, and she was in the trap house living with us, but she was not like doing clients with us, but she did a few times because everybody in the house was telling her, oh, you should do it. Like her own sister would say that you should do it, but she was 17. And she was saying like she cried. She did one client once and she cried. Like that's basically a rape.
That's a minor, yes. That's completely illegal.
Yeah.
So,
Like if I could connect with this girl without having to connect to other girls, because they're stalker as well. Like they will stalk you. I don't know what's their problem, but
sorry, who would stalk you?
like the girls, the first girls I met from the trap house. I think it was just bad people overall, but this was one of the reasons also I left. I kind of lost all my stuff when I left to the west. So I mean, I don't really know, but I left my stuff to the girl like that was driving me around from motel to motel. I left like most of my stuff there, and I never got it back because my pimp were telling me, "Oh, I would get it back for you." They never did, and That's like we can go around there like a little bit later because it was like maybe in August that she threw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I took the plane to go in April and they didn't make me pay for it, but most of the pimps do or have contact with fraudulent people. So
Mm-hmm.
they will fraud a plane ticket. They will put like they will go for like 50%. All the flight ticket, literally 50% off, like internationally as well. And there's like it was very popular in Montreal, like fraud. I like generally I had one guy I met that is still my friend. He was genuine, kind person, and his friend and his brother was doing fraud. Like it was very, 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 very popular. Like everybody knew someone. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I everybody I've met, like even my roommates at some point, they were like very healthy girls, but they knew people that was doing fraud. It was just very like basically a trend, right? And that's another thing too, because like a lot of guys I've met, they will do fraud and pimp,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they never get arrested
Mm. Yeah.
for fraud. So it was
Hello? Uh,
use prepaid credit cards. They will use like cell phones. Uh, they will fraud. I mean, cell phone and computers, and basically like they asked me if I wanted to go to a phone stores and take some phones. Like they put us at risk, and I
mm-hmm.
didn't say yes, but like they were like insisting. They put your name at risk when you take the plane. Like they don't care.
So there's a lot of connection with organized crime and different kinds of organized crime, and there's lots of people profiting off of it in
Yeah,
various ways. So it's not just
yeah.
one guy, but he has his connections and they help him so-called
Mhm,
organize the trade. Mm.
mhm, mhm. I the other day I went on my whole Snapchat and I just write down every snapshot of people in the sex industry that I've met, and I have 20 names. That's people that I blocked on Snapchat. It's 20 people, and I had other people that I will meet like in person, so I will not have their Snapchat. They will like sometimes they will be like a team of two guys. One
Mhm.
will be a pimp, the other will be a frauder.
Mhm.
And it's like everybody knows each other. Like I was saying earlier, like every pimps know each other. Bookers also know the pimps. They usually are a clique, right? Because
Mm.
they deserve like a location, I guess. Like just when I was rescued, I still had to work my way out through, and I was around like the girl that rescued me referred me to a gang of guys. They were like five, but they were like booker, but they were doing more fraud, but they would book for girl, like they knew everyone.
Mhm.
And I don't, it's a lot of like clique, but they still all know each other. I was with people that was friend with boys that own like the big house in Alberta in Calgary, and
Mm.
in that house like have I've met girls that was there before. In Montreal, I met a girl that was coming back from that, and she was saying that she lost everything because they kicked her out. She was a crack addict, and like when I've met the pimps, basically they were not arrested, but they escaped, obviously. Like the country, they went on the island somewhere, but they were charged for proximity.
Mm-hmm.
They're still not arrested,
It's
and
yeah.
like it's hard because the girl has to press charge,
Mm.
like, and her name, because like the law. Oh my god! Like if I could change it out, like I would change it out. Like it basically how it will work in court is it will have one trial with one girl. By example, there's 5 girls that press charge. It
Mm-hmm.
will have one trial for like every girl. It's not gonna be together when it should be together, and it should not even need like the girl's name in the paper. Like
They
I don't
name
understand
her.
why it's
They name her in the paper. Her real name.
yeah
That's
yeah.
crazy.
It's
That's
like
insane. That's really does. So the court system does not understand how dangerous it is, to speak up in a court against a criminal man or
an
potentially organization.
organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, a organization, and like there's no way people are going to come forward. Like the girl that did will be like the other girls in the house will build a case against her. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's no way you can move forward, and the only way they're gonna be arrested if they don't escape is if a girl move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can hide the name in the paper. There's a way to do it, but they are criminals. They have contacts. They can pay the lawyers. That's what my pimp told me. He was like, telling me casually that they did pay a lawyer before to know the name of the girl.
Mm-hmm. And this
Uh,
is it's really crazy to hear this because like the law should have changed that in 2014 and made it per se
mm,
illegal. As long as there is proof that someone took money from a person in prostitution, that should be pimping. They shouldn't be need to speak. But clearly it's not working like that in practice, and it's just the same problems we have in Germany. It's just exactly the same.
I don't even think you should need proof. Like, if you know a pimp or if you are a victim of a pimp, you should be able to press charge to open an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And like the investigation could run for multiple years if it needs.
Of course, like the victim shouldn't have to provide the proof. The police should investigate, and then you can have like phone
Yes,
conversations, or like very often, from what I know in Sweden, they can convict someone just because there's texts on the phone, and
and there's a lot
it's
of
clear.
text. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not this.
Mm-mm.
Just take the phones and uh, the convictions are possible with the woman staying anonymous. And obviously, even if they don't catch the pimps, then she should still get support. So that was going to be my next question. When someone does want help, be that addiction or wanting to get out or wanting to get away from a pimp, is that available?
No. Mm-mm. I would just say no. There's nothing.
Like no one ever comes. There's no like organizations that come to talk or to give
Mm-mm.
condoms or hot beverages or anything.
No. I was like homeless. In Alberta, and I didn't ever know where to go.
Mm,
Like the only place available was shelters, and I didn't want to go. So I
mm,
just like there was nothing, and I was scared of the police. they put you in a mentality where you're scared of it. I don't know why. Like, a police knocked on my door once and I didn't even answer. Like, I hid in my bed.
Mm-hmm.
I went passed by. I had to go to a post office once actually. And it was because I needed help. Because my ID was expired and I needed to go back to Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is a lawyer. Like, she's crazy, but she's a lawyer. So I was like, can you help? Like, how can I take the plane? How can I go back? I don't have my IDs. The police couldn't help. I
Mm-hmm.
was very hopeless, like, at that point, because it was just awful. Like, the police cannot help me, and they don't know. I mean, I didn't, like, run in, and I was like telling them everything because you feel so ashamed. But like,
Mm.
I was just hopeless. I was like, well, the police can't help me. They will have not done anything anyway. What they can do, like, they're gonna let you on the street, like, basically.
They
That's
don't
what they're
give
gonna do.
they don't give you a number. They just say, well, there's the homeless shelter. They don't have anything else they're offering.
No. And my mom had a police, because also in Canada, like, every province has their own police.
Mm.
So they cannot communicate through province unless it's a federal crime. But if it's a federal crime, it's GRC the takeover. GRC is like gendarmerie, anyway. My mom had a police officer from Quebec sign a paper.
The connection isn't that good. Hello?
I couldn't take the plane, the train,
Oh,
anything.
sorry, Cassie. I couldn't hear you for like 20 seconds. Can you repeat?
Basically, my mom made a police officer from Quebec sign a paper to say, like, that's me, so I can take the train. The
Mm-hmm.
train, because I didn't have any ID.
Mm.
And I couldn't take the plane. I was stuck. I didn't. My ID expired, so I couldn't do anything. I could have took the bus, but I had a cat. I cannot take a bus for 3 days anyway. Like. And yeah, so the police there didn't do anything. The police ain't there because my mom had a contact with the police. But it didn't really change anything because the train asks you for your IDs, but they don't check it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to take the train and come back home to my abusive mother. That was awful. She literally put me down. Like, I was, in December 2017, I said I was rock bottom of my depression. And when I came back home, it was like in October 2018. I was even more like a rock bottom. Like, if you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine another layer of rock. Like, my mom put me even more down.
Mm-hmm.
She would call me a war in the street, like downtown, yelling. I was in my whole bedroom next to her room, and like I would just sleep all day, and she would just yell at me all day.
Mm-hmm.
She never hugged me. She never asked me if I was okay. Yeah, that was awful. Like, when you come back from such a situation, you expect to at least have a hug from your mother.
Of
It
course,
was
yes. Yeah.
and comfort, support, and she was against me, so it was very hard. It's still hard. to go through it.
But I remember you saying you have some support now, so your mum is not behaving like a mother should, but you said that you got some help after you left.
Yeah. I'm lucky.
Oh, sorry. The connection isn't you're cutting out. Hello? Can you hear me? Sometimes the connection isn't so great.
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything you said. Can you repeat?
I have a family doctor. And not everyone that has a family doctor, so I'm lucky to have one, even though I don't like her. But yeah, she gave me antidepressant like in March 2019. It took a while from when I came. I was having so much anxiety. I'm from a small town, okay? And there was like 3 people in the street, and I will have an anxiety attack. Like all I wanted to do was like not leave my room. Besides that, I didn't have any support. I still don't have a paid therapist. I pay for it myself, but there's organization in Quebec that will pay for your therapist, or if you lost anything due to any type of crimes. If you're a victim of a crime, you can. I still was not accepted. Like, so I don't know if the state is gonna pay for my therapist, and I need one. I need a real life person therapist. Like, I have an online one right now, and it's okay, but I need also sex therapy, because like I cannot even masturbate. I don't even get horny. So there was sometimes after I came back that I was being hypersexual, and that's also common for girls that are like victim of sex crimes.
Yes.
To be hypersexual or like no libido at all.
Can I ask, are you talking to oh yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
I was gonna ask if you're talking to other women who experience the same.
Okay, I kind of want to talk more about in Alberta, or I was.
Okay.
When I got there, and the people I've met, maybe how I got out, because I was in the network for like 6 months, and I went through a lot. So it just I kind of want to express it so people can have an idea. In 6 months, you can go through that. So imagine a girl that do it for 10 years.
Yes.
Like, she went through like it all already. Like,
yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I can't hear you.
I can hear you now. Sorry, I don't know if it's on my end. I don't know what the problem is.
Hello.
Hi. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The call and join back. Discord sometimes is on.
Yeah. Oh. Do you want to restart the call?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Okay. Let's. I'll just call Cassie again. Hello? Sorry about the technology. That's always bound to happen, especially when you're live streaming. Hello? I can't hear anything. Hello? Um, I could hear a little bit. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. You were saying.
I want to speak about when I was in Alberta more in details.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I arrived, I've met my pimp and the basically the people I was living with. So it was I had one pimp and I had another guy that would live with me and drive me around places, sometimes book for me. So technically I had two pimps. So I had to share my money with two people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One was Jamaican, the other one was white French Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
The French Canadian one was a drug dealer and he was a drug user as well. He basically would be in one house and he had a roommate that basically was working in construction, so he didn't have nothing to do with that. He
Mm-hmm.
will touch me and he will not even clean his floor and walking with his dirty boots and I had to clean it. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I arrived, the Jamaican guy told me, well, the only thing the white guy wants is that you sleep with him. And I was like, no. I was scared and I was like, no, please. I'm black. I know
Mm-hmm. Hello? And now it's cutting out again.
God because I'm very grateful that the white.
Cassie, you're cutting out again. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Image you can have like in your just grills. Oh, everything.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
You cut out again. I couldn't hear your last couple of sentences. Really sorry. It's never happened before, but it decided to happen today. We should be back live now.
It
Are we?
works for me.
Hi, audience. Can you hear us? We should be back live now. I'm really sorry. My internet decided to just spontaneously say goodbye.
In the live stream, so it's working for now.
Okay, so you can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, you were in the middle of speaking on your experience in the later part of your time in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So just, yeah, keep going.
Okay, so I will just recapitulate a little bit. When I arrived in Alberta, and it's very common, okay, for a French girl to go in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan uh to sell their bodies. Okay, it's very common. Basically, it's the pimps that send us there to control us more, to take 100%, and they tell us that you're gonna make more money, but that's not true. I was making more money in Montreal because I was actually keeping 50%. So when I arrived, basically I had two pimps, so I had to share my money with two people. I never asked for that. Like I didn't like. I knew it. I knew it was the case when I was already there, and I didn't even want it 100%. Like I was like, no, 50%. But the Jamaican guy kind of convinced me to give them 100. He was like, well, that's how I work. That's how all my girl works with me. Like, it's always 100%. And it was like,
But how do
we
they
pay.
justify it? So they give you a place to stay and food, but they don't let you make anything extra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Again, and then it came back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if this keeps happening, then then I think, yeah, we should just record and then I'll put it on the channel afterwards. But we're back now, so let's try if it works. But if it keeps breaking
Okay.
down, then we'll have to pre-record and then if,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're gonna sell you. I mean, the first thing he told me was that I had a white guy pimp and a Jamaican pimp, and the Jamaican told me that the only thing the white guy wanted was that I sleep with him, and I said no. I was able to stay in my room. They didn't force me, so I was very happy, and I'm still grateful because the white guy is very gross.
Mm.
Honestly, I was there from April to October. I barely had any food. I was eating ramen every day.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I went to a restaurant was for my birthday. We also went clubbing, and that's a white guy friend that was not part of the sex industry at all, that paid for my drink and everything. Not even my own pimp. Okay. I had to suck the Jamaican take to get $100 worth of gift for my birthday. I just wanted something. It was $100, and I had to suck his dick to have it. That's the money I made. I had credit cards, and we need to do minimum payments. They will hardly be able to send me $40 to do it. Literally, like hardly. I had 4 pieces of clothes. The white guy literally brought me shopping once. I bought coat, I bought dress to work. I had the same dress every day for to April to October. The same. I was working at the same dress every day. The way it works is you gotta be ready, makeup done, dressed up every night. And sometimes you don't get called for a while. And I was able to play video games, so it was very helpful, even though sometimes I was in the middle of a game and I had to leave. It was helpful though. But I had to stay awake till like 8, 9 a.m. and I had to be up for like 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
This is very hard on anybody anyway, like this type of work. And the only time I would leave the house is to go to a client's house. So this is very like, it's weird. I don't know, like the only time you go out it's at night. I was like kind of like scared to leave the anyway, I didn't have nowhere to go. I always had to ask for anything. Like literally, like the only thing I was asking was internet because I play video game. They didn't pay. Oh my god, like the internet. The white guy that owned the house was not able to pay. And I was working and they were taking all my money and they couldn't pay internet. And I would go like 1 week without internet. That was frustrating me so much.
Yeah, it's like what I'm wondering is like that must have had a really strong effect on your health, both physical and mental. It would on anybody. Like the clients or Johns, they must have noticed. I feel like they must have noticed. And
Yeah.
and did anyone say anything at all? Like, are you okay? Or did they shrug their shoulders?
Um, yeah, but more at the end. Honestly, I had my way with the client. I didn't even like, because there was like two type of client. There's the one that wants sex, the other one that is too high on drug to get hard in the first place. So they were my favorite, obviously. You would just like jerk them off, and they wanna get hard. So I was happy, and they will do drugs with you. So it was like, yay, free drug and free money, woohoo! Honestly, that's the comparison between Montreal and Alberta. Is in Alberta, I was like, I calculated that maybe every $1,000 I was having sex once.
Okay.
So
That's
that
cool.
was very great. Yeah.
Okay. But
They
it was
were
still,
mostly
the
high.
pimps were taking 100%, so you didn't see any
Yes.
of that money.
No. And I will lie sometimes and take a $20, being like, oh, finally he's only giving 100. You cannot do it too often because they know. But yeah, I was just stacking up my money, like 20. I got like to 1,000. I had two wallets. I had one wallet for the money and another one for my IDs that was expired, but it's still my IDs, my credit cards. I was the only one with the credit cards too. It's not common apparently. And August 1st, we were robbed at gunpoint. Like we were two girls working in the house, and our room got thrown up. Like I have picture. It's like they just throw everything on the floor. But in mine, didn't it? In mine, they came in with a gun when I was playing video game, like minding my own business. They were like, "Where's the money?" You know what was saying? "Where's the money?" Okay, yes, the robber said once. I have it clipped. I could share it to you. It's on my channel. I was playing video games, so I was able to clip it, right? And the guy I was saying mostly was the money was the white guy, my white pimp. So when it happened, I'm like, well, it's over there. And I was scared of him, like I was saying earlier. So I had a knife in my room. I had a knife on top of my wallet because 2 days prior, I had a dream that somebody shoot at the wall and rob us. So I put a knife on my wallet. And the robber shot the couch, not the wall. My dream was still pretty close, and my pimp took the knife. He opened, like, the dresser. I see the knife. Could have defended himself. Could have defended me. Could have defended my money. Her money. No, he gave them the money. And that just, I internalized a lot. But I was I never was anxious before, and I'm anxious now. I have anxiety because of that situation. I just felt like they set me up. I felt like the people in my own house set me up. Why did they literally run out of room but didn't got anything? And in mine, they just took the money and leave. And why did my pimp was the more insisting than the robbers? Like, you're getting robbed. You're supposed to defend yourself. Yeah, he had a knife, and just the fact that he had a knife, and he could have defend himself, but he chose not to, and that was creating I was sure that they set me up because I was trying to escape with this money.
Okay, so you feel like he was working with the robbers to keep you trapped. That's quite possible, as you were saying, with all the connections with organized crime. Yeah.
So I was scared of leaving my bed for 1 month. That's the only time that I literally watched Netflix in my life. I watched like a few like I literally was only doing that. I was sleeping 15 hours a day. I was then just watching Netflix. After it happened, basically like the Jamaican pimp go in jail for other things that are not related to prostitution. He went in jail, and that's when everything went down because the white guy didn't care about me, and he would just not even bother booking me. So I was like hardly working, but I was fine with it, obviously. Like, but I was hardly working, and when after we got robbed, basically, he didn't even book me because all he was doing was drug. He didn't care. So the money I had saved was the only money I had, like, and that I made basically that I was able to keep. So it was very hard. I was scared to take a shower, scared to leave my home. You know the friend that pays for my birthday stuff? Maybe October, like at the end of September, so I met him in the house, and he was like, "Hey, you were that the whole time, and you were there the whole time in your room." And I was like, "Yeah," and it makes me sad because this guy, he was like not a pimp, he was just like a friend of a drug dealer, right? And he would have, if he would have known I was alone in my room, he would have went unchecked on me. That's another thing. Nobody checked on me. My pimps, nobody, even the girls.
There were other women there too, in the same house.
Yeah. Like, the woman that was in the same house with me will just come from time to time. She will usually work in Edmonton, but she will come here, like in Calgary, a few times, like a few days a week, sometimes like that. So I was mostly alone in the house. When I was working though, the schedule was like pretty harsh, but also when you're in your period, do you know how girls manage when they have their period?
The sponges is what I've read and heard.
Yeah. Makeup sponges, and you have to work. That just that's awful. I was sometimes able to be like, no, I don't want to work, but most of the time I had to anyway. I will use coconut oil for lube, or just lube, because it hurt. Like, I have a client that hurt me. The girl like that was with me was there, but she was sleeping, and I always say like I'm alone and stuff. So he had a service and was not satisfied because like I was saying earlier, I had my way with clients. I would not do high contact because I don't want to remember their face. I don't want to remember it. So I will only do like doggy style. That's also the best way if you want them to come fast, because that's just the best way. But he had died and he was not happy because I was not like as skinny as he wants her or whatever. Like, I was not good enough for him. And he wanted his money back. And he thought I was alone. So he thought, oh, that's a great way. That's a great time to abuse her, I guess. And he started being violent. Like, I had bruises and stuff. And he wanted to come in my room, but I was able to push him out. And I played a lot. With my mom. Like, she was abusive, right? And I have a lot of experience into blocking doors.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I was like, wow, I did that in my childhood. So I was blocking the door. I didn't want him to get his money back. And I was banging at the wall. The girl was sleeping. He thought I was alone. So the girl literally just come out and she's like, what's the problem? And then he stopped being violent. And he leaves. Imagine if I would have been alone. Like, the
Yeah.
pimps were not there. They're supposed to protect us,
Mm.
but they never do.
Mm.
It's really just a scam. They say things they don't do. Like, I think in one night I made like pretty much almost $2,000 maybe
Mm-hmm.
with one client, and we would uh do coke and drinking tequila. Like, I was sober when I went there, and then I was super fucking drunk and high and stuff. And I mean, I had a good time, I guess, with the client, but like, I felt very bad because I was like, you really have to send money? Like, you had to, because like, I spent another few hours with him, but like, I just felt bad for asking him, like, don't forget to send it. But it was sent directly to my pimp account. It gave me a sweater, which I lost. I wish I still had when I was homeless that though. Uh, I don't know. It was just sad, I guess, because all the money I made, then I gave it all to my pimp. I still had 4 pieces of clothes. They bought me workout clothes though, like Nike shoes and Nike leggings,
Mm.
and I like, ooh, that's the only thing.
I have one question about the clients.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like more general, like people sometimes hear these stories, and they're like, okay, so some of them are violent, but most of them are just um, fine or uh, even gentlemanly, and also I don't know, people have a very ambivalent relationship. They're not sure what to think. But my question is like, do you know about the background of these men? Do you know if they were what kind of jobs they had or how old they were, where they came from? Like, um, what kind of man is interested to pay um, to, yeah.
Okay. In Toronto, it's Indian people, like from Pakistan. That's basically mostly them. Some are students, some are workers. They will always ask for quickies. So basically, they in 15 minutes. I don't remember. I think it's like 80 or 100 for 15 minutes. Um, in Alberta, uh, I was being very disrespected by black guys. They treat you like you're not even a woman, like you're literally worse than an object. So I was like, no, I don't want to do black people anymore. Like, it was just very like degrading the way they treat you, they see you, and they hurt you too. Like, it's not true that they always have big dick, but sometimes they do, and it hurts, and sometimes, I don't know, like, I would get people on my house after being with a black girl. So I don't know, I was just like, and it's very common for girls to be like, no, we don't do black. They are also also low ballers. Like, they really negotiate the price they don't want to pay at all. I'm talking in general, obviously, but like, most of the girls don't accept black for that reason.
Mm.
Uh, they like, I mean, that's general for every client, whatever their ethnicity, but like, they will offer like you to have sex with them without condom for $100, like $100. You're like, no, but some girls, like we were talking earlier, the native girls or the black girls, don't have a choice sometimes because they need the $100 for basic needs, for a house, for food. So they say yes. Like, I was able to say no, but some girls have to say yes, and that is just wrong in every extent. No. And they insist, like the client insists as well. In the East Coast of Canada, I had to do blowjobs sometimes without condoms. But you have to in Montreal and in Toronto because that's kind of like the market. People are not going to meet you at all if you don't. You need the money, right? In the West Coast, though, in Alberta, where I was able to always put a condom on. Like, I don't even care. Like, I was putting a condom on, so I was feeling more safe there. Even though I was feeling trapped, at least I could say no to Black people. I could say no to people too. If I was not feeling like I had a weird client, and I was able to leave without doing anything. In this situation, the pimps are handy because you're just like, okay, I want to leave. So you basically scam the client technically. Like, you take the money and you leave. And if anything goes wrong, you have a boy to defend you. But like, it was very weird clients. Ugh. I had couples. Literally, like, the woman was like, no, she could be my daughter. You're not making her do anything to you. And the man was like, but we pay for that. And he was trying to, and that was just weird. I mean, thanks to the woman, like, I guess, I don't know, people have porn addictions, so.
But I mean, many people. I follow the conversation in Germany and internationally, and it feels to me like people are just talking about all the wrong things. They're talking, well, women choose this, and women decide which one to take, and what to do and not to do. And there's lots of women who also pay for it, the conversation goes. But then I talk to women who've actually experienced it, and they're like, that's all upside down. And also, like, people get angry if a woman says, I won't do a man like this or like that. I won't, if it's based on his race. And then, like, this is not the moment to be, like, this is not about political correctness. You all said this is about her body, her choice. So she gets to make whatever choice she wants. But I remember, I think there was also a woman in pornography who also said she wouldn't do any scenes with gay men or, like, men who had been in gay pornography. And she was bullied for it. If anyone in the chat remembers her name, I believe she also took her own life sometime after. It's like, what are we doing? We're having all the wrong conversations. It's like, what's wrong with her, and why isn't she being whatever we think is politically correct? Which is like, you can't tell people who to sleep with. It's crazy. Instead of talking like, what is the demand for this stuff? Why is it so violent? Why is there so much coercion and abuse? Why is the demand for that when it must be visible to the clients what's going on? At least sometimes, at least when there's drugs involved. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because the client that literally kind of like helped me being rescued was Black. Okay, like it's not a race thing, but if most, like I'm saying most, like if 95% of the Black clients you have treat you like shit, treat you like, and they are rough with you, and they see you as literally just a sex toy, you're not going to want to do business with them because you're asking for minimum respect. And I was asking them minimum respect, and they will not, that will just not work. And I don't know, like it's not about race. It's just that like it's common for girls' household to in their house they will have like no black guys. The black clients, the black people that ask for like escorts and stuff are very respectful, and they can hurt you. They're rough with you. It just that I mean that's why it is like in like I was talking about Pakistan people that was like student workers. They were respectful. Girls didn't like to do them because they smells or whatever, but like I don't know, they were respectful for the most part. They asked for a quickie and that's it. Like it takes 2 minutes. They're out and you got like 80, 100, like sometimes they'll bother ask for 60, but like overall they were respectful. And that's what's very important for me is like don't treat me like shit. Right? And also it's about hygiene. If you don't feel like doing something, you can say no, but if you say no, usually these men doesn't take rejection very well. So it can be very hard to escape their house or have them leave. I had a guy, he was black, and he literally laid on my bed, on the client's bed, laid there for like, okay, basically we had the service, so he came quick, but he was like, I paid for an hour, so I stay an hour, and he was just in the bed laying down. And I was like, leave, and he wouldn't leave. It's things like that, like just, so it's annoying. But for the most part, I don't remember. Maybe I remember 10 clients. Maybe if I think about it more, I will remember more. But I had my way with them to try not to remember them. That was my whole point. I don't want to remember them. So I remember like a few that went wrong, I guess. But I was lucky, I will say, because most of my clients were white and on drugs. So that was going well for that. But I was still awkward, like sitting on the couch. I went to a party with a girl that was like a paid party. I just didn't feel like I was in the right place.
I was gonna ask. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You said that a man saved you. A man. I think I remember you saying that he actually paid attention to how you were, that you weren't doing well, and he asked about it.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
I actually had a few clients that was like that. I had a client that went in and he was like, well, if you're not feeling like it, we don't have to. And he didn't force me to have sex with him. I kept the money, he left, but we talked a little bit. So very grateful for men like this to exist in the industry. The black guy though came in. I don't even think he had the intention to have sex. He came in and he was like asking me questions straight away. Are you okay? How are you doing? And he saw something was wrong, I guess. And he was like, he literally stayed maybe 5-10 minutes. It was like, all right, I'm gonna do something about it. Maybe I was like being tense that day. He was like, I'm gonna do something about it. And like we got kicked out by the landlord like the same week. I saw the paper, was like asking my white pimp, what's up with that? Are we getting kicked out? He's like, no, we're not. 2 weeks later, I see them moving with the moving truck, and I'm like crying because I'm like, where am I going to go? They literally left me there. The landlord though never came. Like, we got kicked out for like October 1st, and I was still there in mid-October.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, I guess it just left me there, but like they all left me there. And I didn't have Wi-Fi, I didn't have a phone working because they will not pay for my phone. And I had to go to Walmart to get Wi-Fi to speak to my friend, like online friends. I will try to get out, I guess, like texting this girl that actually helped me get out. The first time I tried to escape, it was very hard to find a ride to go to Edmonton, and I had to go to Edmonton to take the train, but there was no ride, like share, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time that I tried, I was lucky AF. I got a ride. So the girl helped me, like put me in contact with bookers. So they got me a hotel room. They would book for me. I was not making a lot of money, but just enough, I was taking actually 50%. And the bookers were like, because I needed like essential stuff like baby wipes, like condoms, stuff like that. And they bought it for me. They were like, it's okay. You can take it. And then we share 50%. So that was very great for that. And then I was able to go to a mountain. I worked there like a few days with the girl booking me. So I was giving her 50%. And then I was able to take the train and leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, if I'm thinking, because I mean, every girl who is doing drugs, like, you have to do drugs to go through that. Like, I was doing Molly a lot at my birthday. I remember I was doing Molly alone in my bed, playing my video game. And I was very sad, and I was telling my online friends, like, I don't know if I want to work for him anymore. And I was just very sad, like, because I didn't, like, I didn't even have clothes. And that's, like, the first time I tried to escape, basically, the girl that saved me, that was the same girl. She was like, okay, let's meet up. So I escaped, meet her in her hotel. She's like an independent sex worker, basically. He does also a lot of cam work.
Mm-hmm.
She's very great. I'm not the only one that she helped get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I had my cat and stuff, but like, she had to go somewhere with the black girl she was with, and I could not follow because I couldn't take the bus. So she was like, okay, go to this guy, he does fraud, and his girlfriend was doing domination.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to their loft, and like, if they were letting me do their clients, then I actually got mad at one client because he was there respecting me, and I was like, you know what? Just leave. I know it's time to do with your business. I was so stressed out. The the girlfriend of the Jamaican guy, he was still in jail, but he was getting out soon, and she tracked me down. I think I left when he got out. He got back and I left. But like, it was right after my robbery, and his girlfriend like basically was convincing me to live with her and stuff. So I was in the mood to wanting to escape. So I actually did with the legit girl that was not connected with them. And she tracked me down.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first arrived to this fraud guy, I was like, they are going to track me down. So, if they're gonna entertain you, I don't know, but like, they're going to. And it was like, no. They did. they said that they're gonna kill them or whatever. Like they were, she was just threatening them. I don't know what she said, but he basically told me, "You leave now, or I put a bullet in your head." So I left, and he was very angry at me. So I was crying in the staircase. Helpless. I had to go back to where I was in the house with the pimps. And in a few days, my room was taken over because the house for the hot girls was taken down from the police. That's when they were charged and escaped, like I guess the richest pimps in Alberta. So I had all the girl stuff in my room.
So I just want to understand this right. So the police did intervene, but they didn't. They just went after the pimps. They didn't offer the women they found any support.
No.
That's crazy.
One of the girl that was the girlfriend of the pimp. I mean, they were all their girlfriend, I guess, but one of them was in my house, and she was like, "Oh, why don't you have your nail done?" And she was very skinny, and I was overweight, and she was like, "Go look in my clothes if you have anything you want." And she was very nice, but like I was, I don't know. I was helpless when I came back. Also, when I first escaped, the first thing the girl told me is like she felt like I was kidnapped because I was literally brainwashed. Like I was literally like not able to take any responsibility. I was like, I can give you 100%. I can't deal with it. Like I cannot do my own thing. I cannot take my own responsibility. I was just like, I need help. Like you need to take care of me. And she felt like I was kidnapped, so she really wanted to help me get out. But then I had to come back because the guy was, that was just awful. And I came back, and a few weeks later, that's when they left the house with me in it.
Okay, so like my last big question would be, what do you think needs to change in Canada? Like you said, of course, originally, before you got in, you should have gotten support to get away from your abusive mother. But once you're in prostitution, like what needs to change in how the police acts, or social workers, or just normal people on the street? What would you like to change, or what would be important that people consider?
If we're talking about in Western province, so Alberta, BC, all that, as soon as they see in the middle of the night a French girl dressed up with a Jamaican driver, they should bring them directly to the post office and investigate them. That's the first thing they should do. I was arrested. Arrested in the car, obviously, because I was littering a cigarette. They gave me a ticket of $1,000. They put me outside the car, and they was like, "Are you okay?" And stuff. You can't not snitch. You can't, because they're just gonna. First of all your stuff is in the house, and if you say something, they're gonna arrest them. But they are all connected. Like you cannot snitch on them like that. Like just because the police arrest you, that's not, like, they're gonna beat me up if I say anything. So I was like, yeah, I'm fine. They were like, is anyone force you to kill me? No, genuinely, I took the plane by myself. Like, they didn't put me in the plane. So they weren't asking the right question.
Yeah.
They gave me a ticket, which ended up being fake. I was so stressed. Like, basically, I think it was like October 10th. Like, I was in process of leaving the town because we got kicked out like in September. But October 1st, basically, officially, we were out, but they left mid-September. And I I went to the courthouse and like my ticket was fake. So I was just like, but why making a ticket in the first place?
That's strange. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't understand. Like, I was like, hey, I'm just here to say that I cannot pay that. She was like, well, I cannot find your ticket, so you're fine. And I was like, are you sure? She was like, yes. And I'm like, you sure?
I wonder if the police was just looking for an excuse to speak, like if they had a little bit of awareness that you might get in trouble, but then, yeah, they can't help if the victims don't speak. And so they can't help, basically, like almost everyone. It's the same problem we have here, even though technically the law in Canada should allow them to do more. They don't. It's
Mm-hmm. Because I basically we were going to a hot house, so we were going to a client's house. Technically, okay, and the client never answered, and we got stopped by the police in the same street. So I thought that was a call made from the police, but first of all, the driver had a fake ID. Second of all, they should have harassed him. I don't even think it should be negotiable. Like, it should be the procedure. You meet at night a girl all dressed up that's French. I mean, it's not only French girls, right? We need to make that clear, but a big part of girls in the prostitution in the Western Canada are French. They are brought there by pimps, so they are being exploited. They give 100%, all of them. So I don't even think it should be like negotiable. The police, as soon as you see that, it just bring both people, maybe in the post office, maybe just the boy, let the girl get her stuff back. That's very important. Like, we need more shelters for women like that are being exploited. You need to be able to gather your stuff safely with officers.
Yes.
Leave the house before you say anything.
Yes.
When you have all your stuff with you, when you have a place to live, when you know you're taken care of by not only the law and paper, but by police officer, by therapists. Therapists should be free, like, for this type of situation.
Absolutely.
Like, if there will exist like houses that are private for that, there's some that exist for domestic abuse, but none exists for that type of situation. You need to be safe with all your stuff because you don't have a lot of stuff to be able to talk against.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you should not, like, a lot of things in the law have to change, I think, everywhere in the world. You should be able, like we said, like, to press charge without naming yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Without going to the trial. Because I think if I would go to the trial, I don't even know if they will be in jail. So it's just going to be a pain.
Of course,
like,
you have to, because this is a problem in general, like with sexual violence and crimes or domestic violence. The victim has to repeat in front of an audience, first the police, then maybe social worker, then a lawyer, then again in the judge, and it's such a harsh process that doesn't consider how traumatic that repetition is. That needs to change on so many levels. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the law, you need proof. But when it comes to sexual crimes, you should not need proof. Because most of the time, you don't have proof. And even if you consent for something, if you're being exploited, you didn't consent to being exploited.
Yes. Well, that's...
So, like,
yeah.
I want to press charge. I want to put them in jail, but I can't. They might not even, because they're gonna be like, well, she wanted to. And the court is gonna be like, well, if you wanted to, then no. Even to the law says that pimp should go to jail. Maybe by the law, I could win the case. Um, I don't know. So, uh, we were talking about that in private. Worldwide, you should have therapists, like basic health clinic, like for STDs and stuff,
Yes.
and
Free. Yeah.
free
No
without
ID.
IDs.
Yeah.
No ID, free. You come there, you need it, you get it. Like
Yeah.
that's why it should be. You should have like shelters, more shelters. Like the government should spend more money. We pay taxes. They should spend more money into that. In Alberta, too, there was a clinic that was taking STD tests and was not asking for IDs. And I thought it was very great because
Yeah.
that allows everyone
And then there could be
to.
someone in the clinic who like checks with women like, are you okay? Is your boyfriend treating you right? There could be so many situations. That could be a
Yes.
situation where the pimp is not in the same room and the healthcare provider can
Mm-hmm.
say, if you need help, like talk to me, anything you need. I
Yeah.
can tell you where to go and to
Yes.
make it safe
Yes.
or safer. Yeah.
Yeah. It needs like maybe more women too that are like therapists that will host the girls in distress that are, because I'm not the only one that's trying to escape. Like it's maybe also therapists that comes to the girls that pay for them. Like they don't need to pay for an hour. They could try to be low ballers. Actually, I think that'd be the best things. You be a low baller, so you ask for the most services and for the less price. And some girls will have to say yes, and you know that these girls need help because they
Yes.
are sort of desperate and they
Yeah.
need to accept it. And the therapist then come there, pay them, and they're like, we're not going to have sex. I just want to check on you. Just want to know if you're okay. Give you my number. I give you everything you need. Like a shelter. They should have like subvention too, so they can give them money to get out. Like it's touchy though, because if they have a drug addiction. But rehab center should be free as well. Like they should be able to kind of maybe sometimes make the decision for the victim, the exploited girl, just like, okay, you go in the rehab center, then you go in therapy. I mean, I do whatever. Like, and you have a shelter that actually take care of you with people that are caring, loving, like your mother you never had, stuff like that. I think that would be very helpful, and I think worldwidely it should be like that. It's human
Yes.
rights.
Yeah. And it must be tricky because I would completely understand if the first time that someone comes in, a stranger, and says, oh, I just want to talk or I want to help you, probably I'd be suspicious. So that
Yeah.
like, it needs to be persistent. Like you need to keep coming back. You need to build trust.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes have a woman come. Maybe it works better if you're talking to a woman.
Yeah,
All
I
those
mean, it
things.
could be woman. Nobody's gonna stop a woman from entering. Maybe, but like,
In
doesn't
Germany, you
have to be
sometimes
men.
do, but yeah, yeah, or you can just. Oh yeah, you said if you reply to an online ad, it'll usually be the pimp answering, not the woman herself. So you couldn't talk to
Yeah.
her from the online ad. That wouldn't work. So you
Yeah.
would have to do it face to face.
Mhm.
Okay.
But when you meet the client, you're alone. The pimps is not around. Sometimes they will hide someone else. In my case, it was in his room in the basement. I was still alone. When it's in hotel rooms, they just leave. They have their own room. You have your room. So they don't see the clients. Sometimes they do if they're like in the parking, watching. So they could be like, "Oh, it looks like it's going to be a woman." But if it's if the girl is at a private house or something, like most of the time the pimp is not going to see a client. So I would like not even mind if a girl comes. I would be like, okay, and she'd be like, okay, don't worry, I'm not asking you for sex. just want to pay you and talk, I'm gonna be like, hell yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like every girl, okay, maybe not every girl, but most of the girls are going to let her in. So I think it would be safe even if there's female therapists that come check. But it should be subventioned by a government. That's basic
Yes.
human needs.
Yeah. So, would you be comfortable to ask for people to ask some questions?
Yeah.
So because I'm really sorry again about the tech problems. That's why it took a lot longer. But we've been talking for 2 hours, and someone just said, "Thanks for this interview. I really appreciate having this woman's insight." But now, if anyone wants to ask questions to Cassie, you can put them here. So I can see there's currently 8 people watching, and at various points overall, about 160 people tuned in, so that's not bad for my small channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat now. Yeah, and while we wait for some questions, if there's anything else you want to add that's important for people to know, to take with them, yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah. I personally always wanted to be a lawyer. And, when I was in the courtroom going to say I can't pay my ticket, I saw this lawyer. She was Indian woman, beautiful, and she inspired me. I looked at her and I was like, that's where I want to be. And I was like, that's like looking at me in the mirror, I was like, that's not what I want to be. And I was looking at her like, that's what I want to be. And I will never forget her. I didn't even speak to her, but she really inspired me. And I still want to be a lawyer. I plan to go study law. And I definitely want to advocate for that more. I want to project, like law projects, I don't know what it's called exactly, and give it to every country in the world. Like literally remake the laws for the sex industry and give it to every country. Maybe some will say yes, some maybe won't. Maybe I won't be able to achieve anything, but like I still want to try and study the law, and I probably could work and be like expert specialized in sex crimes, but at the same time I don't know if my PTSD is gonna appreciate that. I guess we'll see. But I definitely want to change the law. That's just awful.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about human rights, human needs. Like
If you
it
want,
doesn't matter.
yeah, I can put you in touch with people in Canada who are working on this, including survivors like yourself, because they brought in the law on paper. Like a lot of women, especially indigenous women, lobbied the government, and they got it on paper, and they're very frustrated that it's not happening. The police isn't taking it seriously. Lots of people aren't taking it seriously. If you want to, so there's like you don't have to fight alone. There's already organizations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went in contact with a girl that is exited as well, and she gave me an organization in Quebec, and I'm actually going to apply, and maybe I could even work for them to track like people, because it's a organization to like anti-sex exploitation, I guess. I don't plan to study law in Canada though, but I can make law project for every country, like anyway.
There's also this in Vancouver. There's a women's shelter that's quite well known. Have you heard of I think they're called Vancouver Rape Relief, but they also do a lot of work for women in prostitution, and
Okay.
they don't think it's harmless. But they recently, I believe, they lost the government funding. They're running on donations now,
Oh,
unfortunately. That's really a scandal, actually, because they have been around for a long time. Um, I'm trying to see if someone asked a question. Oh, someone's commenting about the situation in Italy. Oh, this is talking about. Okay, it says, can you see the comment section? Someone's just
yeah.
talking about how a judge in Italy to blame victims in cases of sexual violence. Yeah, it's a real problem that we can't depend on judges or lawyers to definitely be on the side of victims in all kinds of sexual violence, but especially prostitution, because people think, if it's paid,
You
then
make
it
the
must have been
money.
wanted. Yeah.
I must have. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do some maths real quick. So let's say. Okay. We're gonna put like this. We're gonna say I was making $2,000 a week. I left with nothing. No clothes, nothing. Literally one backpack and my cat. Nothing valuable. They don't buy me anything. So yes, you're paid. You think you're paid, but you're not. The rent was like $400 a month. I was eating ramen because they will never do the grocery. Like just no, just like it's not because you're being paid that you're not being exploited. Like it's also the case for a lot of porn stars as well. People are like, oh, she's making money. She became popular because of porn. Yeah, but maybe she didn't because in porn you're paid for the day you're filming. You don't get any royalties. And you
Yes.
should get royalties. That's another problem. Like every single thing about the sex industry is wrong, and is basically like the structure of the sex industry is men exploiting women legally. That's their point. So we need to overcome that. And if people want to be able to do sex work or to buy sex work, it needs to be turned around and made so women are not being exploited. But when it happens, on Twitter, I see a lot. Females are very, very like rich because they own their content on OnlyFans, and guys are mad because they're profiting of our weakness. They are exploiting us.
Oh yeah, I've
Like,
seen that. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm always glad when women don't have to share the money. Like I thought about your example of OnlyFans, but like I wonder how can anyone check that? I'm sure some of these women are making their own money, but a pimp could use that as well, right? Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not pimp proof. If it was, like I'd be like, this is definitely so much better than what we have now. But unfortunately, any online platform, anyone can pimp out his girlfriend or his stepdaughter, whatever. Sadly, so I agree with
Yeah,
you. It's like I'm happy every time a woman gets to keep the money, but
yeah.
there's like no system where you can kick out all the pimps, all the abusive men. It's not possible, sadly. So, um, but like you said, like until we have a fairer society where like people don't slip through the cracks, we just have to offer support and make it really, really
Mm-hmm.
easy to hold abusers accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It should, yeah, definitely. You should be able to anonymously. If they open an investigation, and if there's like only just one girl, 5 girl are gonna the same pimp because the pimp usually have more than one girls, and it's over the years, so yeah, you will get a lot. So if every girl are comfortable, to press charge against him anonymously, then he doesn't need the victim to be speaking in court. If
Yeah.
we get like 10 victims
There's
like saying
yeah.
their statement anonymously, that's enough.
It should be. There's someone commenting who I think is also from Canada who's talking about sexual harassment scandals that happen in the police. and they're asking like, how can we expect misogynistic group of people to enforce laws to fight misogyny? And
Mhm.
I agree. That's why I think probably it shouldn't be police involved that much, except when it's like, pimps with weapons. Better to have healthcare workers, social workers do the actual talking to women,
Yes,
so that the police can't abuse their power.
exactly. The police should just be there so you can move to point A to point B safely. So basically leave the house and go to a shelter. But yeah, in Canada, I don't know if he's talking about the same case, but a case next to my own town, it's about Native American girls. The police was forcing them to be prostitutes.
That
They
happens
were
in Germany too. Yeah,
they
sometimes
they were
police. Yeah,
basically pimping. Like
yeah.
they would be like, I give you $100 to suck my dick, and I give you another $100 to shut the fuck up. The girls cannot say no. They are police officers. They're gonna arrest her if she said no. So
Yeah.
they had to, and most of them disappeared, and some of them were found dead.
Yeah, that's really serious, and that happens in Germany too. Like I know a woman who her first pimp was also a police officer, so not just ignoring pimps breaking law, but being pimps themselves. So like it's gonna be difficult to build that, but there needs to be accountability for abuse of power just across the board for police. I mean, there's a lot of debates about that now. There's just a problem that when there's other men who have weapons and are also dangerous and misogynistic, how do we defend against them? I don't know. It's complicated. But well, that's why we need like law experts. Like I think like what you do and other women do, setting those goals is really important. So that we can
Mm-hmm.
figure out a system that does work and helps the most people. Yeah. So one more person is saying very often, you said like women need therapists, but instead therapists are often used to help like male abusers. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's complicated. Sometimes I guess they do need help too, but I would want the victims prioritized.
Yeah, it should be free, just like the STD clinic. It should be free. It should be none. Definitely, in every country, we're talking human rights. This is in human rights. Like it's not really hard for a government to pay therapists, social workers, and stuff to help people that doesn't have IDs. That are like the people that won't have IDs are most likely going to be in prostitution. So it's gonna be able to help them get out. We need like basically a whole system in place to help the girls get out of it, support them short time and long term. And basically, we need to build up a whole system from the ground while being against the law system, the justice system. So this is a very big battle, but I think that it's worth fighting, definitely, and it's worth to like spread awareness. Like I share a lot on my Instagram to stop watching porn and stuff. And I have some people being like, thank you, I stopped watching porn, and thank you. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want to make me happy now, tell your friends too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most rewarding experiences for me too. When someone's like, "Oh, you actually changed my mind. I'm not going to do that anymore."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because when you're watching
Because
porn like this, you have no idea who that person is. Like even with like all these companies in California, how many
mm-hmm.
more like women have to come out from the legal companies? Like you talked about Mia Khalifa, she was with legal companies, not underground criminals, and they're still
Mm-hmm.
exploitative in all the ways you can imagine. Just legal
Yeah,
on paper.
legally exploited. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I like to be like, well, it's proven that porn stars are being exploited. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. So if the professional are being exploited, what do you think the amateur section is?
Oh yeah.
In
Oh There's
Uh,
so many misconceptions about amateur.
and
Yeah.
honestly, like when I got out of it, I remember I watched porn. Like it was probably like in December 2018. I was back. Yeah, and I cried because I knew the girl was being exploited, and I felt empathy because I used to be exploited, and I cried watching porn, and I was literally okay. Well, I just cried watching porn,
Hmm.
but it's the reality because it's very rare that I get monster content.
Yeah.
I 100% or like splitting with the person that is in the video. On the side note, I don't want to like take everybody's time, but there's so much to talk. And when I was
Hmm.
in Montreal, there's some guys that was asking me to do porn with them and splitting the money, but I didn't do it. But we all know that it's on their account and they're never going to give you your part of royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes around like Tinder people. Actually, the first people that approached me was Tinder boys. They were like, "Hey, do you wanna start working for me? We could make good money."
Mm.
And also, some people, when I was looking for a booker, a guy to work with me, it was hard because I was not in love with anyone. It's easier when a guy has a girlfriend and then he pimp her, I guess. But it was hard for me to find someone to work with. I could say that like that. And they will try me, basically have sex with me, and then decide whether or not they want to work with me.
Mm.
That's fucked up. That's very degrading, and I was just
If that
like so confused.
if that happened in any other job, like, um, I know there's naked auditions sometimes in acting, but that's like that in it of itself is not even touching, and we all know that's really wrong. If any employer required a future employee to have sex with him, like, except when it's so-called sex work, then that's the job, so why not? It's really crazy. I want to respond to one more comment. There is someone wrote, disabled men can get sex therapists, but accident survivors can't get support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the disabled men often held up as shields to justify why prostitution is necessary. But I don't know if any one of the people listening, or if you, Cassie, know of the case that happened maybe a year ago. There was a Canadian woman. There's even prostitution for sex offenders. So these are men that have gone to prison for rape or child abuse. And this man was let out of prison like for a day to spend some time
Mhm.
outside. He like temporary parole. He went to a brothel, and he murdered a woman. Like that happened in Canada, and it's and he like I don't know all the details of the case. Like a lot of people are talking about how did he have money? They must have provided him with some money to spend. Um, and there's lots of scandals been there since in Germany and Australia where the parole board is allowing a sex offender to go to a brothel
Mhm.
because it's therapy. There's compassion for rapists, but not for rape victims. I mean, these are extreme examples, but they shouldn't be happening at all. This,
I mean, it's true because rape is as worse than murder if it's not worse. Because, like, ask any survivors and they will say that they will have rather been killed. Okay, yes, you can be grateful you're still alive, but it's a big baggage to have your entire life, and you cannot even have sex with your own boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, it's awful. Like, honestly, I think rape is worse than murder, and rapists are treated like robbers, thieves.
yes,
They
yeah,
should be treated like murderers because they
yes.
literally are worse than murderers.
No, I completely agree. And this is a very dark point to end on, but I hope there's some hope in what we've talked about. Like it's extreme what can happen in only half a year. But I mean, you talk about it now, and I'm sure it's going to take time for the healing process. But you talk about it very clearly, and people have said thank you for your analysis and you sharing.
Mhm.
Um, And there's lots of women around the world, a lot of exited women working on this issue, working to get more money for support. And even if it's like swimming upstream, swimming against the tides,
Yeah.
it's worth it, and we're going to keep doing it, and hopefully like lift off the shame from like women who are just trying to survive onto men who
Mm-hmm.
really could say no. Like it's their choice. No
Yeah.
one's forcing them to pay.
Mm-hmm. And sex work is okay, but not prostitution. That's my take on the subject. I don't think any girl, any boy should be paid to have sex with people. Porn could be the exception because it's like there's less people. I guess you're not going to sleep with thousands of people after your career, maybe a few dozen, I don't know, but like actual prostitution should be abolished everywhere. Like there's no woman that wants that in like deep inside of them. You don't want to like when I look back, I feel like I've been raped by hundreds of men. Even if like, I was not paid, like, yeah, I was paid, but I was exploited. So basically, I was raped by hundreds of men, and it's just awful to look back to.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been talking for quite a while. I think there was a lot of important information and insight, and someone else is saying thank you. I don't know if you're also reading the chat and having a
Yeah.
conversation about, the justice system. Um, so if it's all right with everyone, it's quite late here in Germany. Then we'll end the live stream now, and I
Mm-hmm.
will put links so that everyone can follow Cassie on Twitter and also Instagram if you want.
No,
So
it's fine.
just Twitter. Okay, just put it for Twitter so you can follow her and um, learn more. And yeah, then I'll see you all another time in the next video.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cassie.